If you've ever struggled with your dog going to places in the house they shouldn't, today I'm going to show you the solution.
Today's video is sponsored by PetFlow.
Click thumbs up for Luca the Lab, and if you're new to my channel, click subscribe for the most thorough dog training videos anywhere. And if you want to get the most out of my videos, pick up a copy of my best-selling book, Dog Training Revolution. It's perfect if you're thinking about getting a dog or want to get serious about having the best dog possible. If you want your very own signed copy, check out my Patreon campaign for the details, link in the description. There are many reasons you might want to keep your dog out of a certain room in the house. Maybe you recently had a baby, or you've got fancy furniture in a certain room, or in Luca's case, your dog sneaks off when no one's paying attention to steal food. Fortunately, there's always a way to make sure that Luca has her food when she needs it. PetFlow is a revolutionary service that will automatically deliver your dog's food to your front door twice a month or however often you'd like it delivered. All you have to do is choose your dog's favorite food and how often you want it shipped, and bam, it's always there when you need it. You don't even have to remember to order it. Since you have to get your dog's food anyway, get it this way. It'll make your life easier and you're supporting the dog training revolution. I'm gonna have a special link and a coupon code in the description of this video that'll give you 20% off of your first auto ship order. Luca, that's 20% off. That's such a good deal. Now, let's go do some boundary training with Luca the Lab. Our goal today will be to teach Luca how to stay out of the kitchen. A prerequisite for this is that you've taught your dog how to stay and you've taught them how to leave something alone when you ask. I'll be testing for that in a moment with Luca, but for the rest of you, if you haven't taught your dog this, I'll have links in the description. Teaching your dog boundaries is actually pretty easy, but it does take a lot of consistency and a fair amount of time, but it's a great opportunity to build more sophisticated communication with your dog. For now though, make sure that your dog definitely doesn't have access to the areas of the house you're trying to keep them out of. That means you've got to cut off all access to these areas by controlling their environment. Now, I recommend that you actually attach the leash to you, and when you're not in a position to supervise, you can have them in another room where they're not in a position to get to those areas until you've done sufficient boundary training. Like all things in dog training, boundary training can't really be taught passively, so make sure you give them your full attention applying the techniques that I'm going to go over today. When I was over here the other day, I left some food out on the counter and I walked out for just maybe 3 seconds and she was all over it. First, let me confirm that Luca can do a basic stay while I walk away. Luca, stay. That's nice, you're doing terrific. Okay, so I'm satisfied she can do a basic stay, but what about when things get a little bit more exciting? Stay. Whoa, look at you, you're doing a great job. Look at all that chicken. Okay, so this is good. What this tells me is that Luca has it in her to override her impulses. See, your dog has to have that basic impulse control before you can really teach them boundaries, but she's doing fantastic. If she were to break, I'd simply escort her back to the point where I asked her to stay and try again, maybe perhaps making it a little bit easier for her on the second attempt. So I'm really happy with how well Luca is doing. She's staying while I drop the treats, but will she stay when I throw treats into the kitchen and I'm over there? See, dogs are really smart and they can tell that if you're really far away from the treat that they've got a chance at beating you to it. So I want to make sure she's really tight on that before I go on with my next step here. Hey, Luca, look at me. Good job. Okay, ready? Stay. I'm gonna go over here. And again, this is just to make sure that she'll stay when I give her my full attention and throw a treat into the kitchen. What a doll you are. You're doing so well. So our goal over the next few weeks is to make sure that Luca doesn't have access to this kitchen at all unless we give her permission to go in. Let's simulate some real-world kitchen activity. I want to make sure that she knows that there's some awesome food on the counter right here. So I'm going to let her sniff this, leave it alone. Good girl, that was really good. She's really on her good behavior right now. Stay. So I'm going to go over here. It's much more difficult when your dog is farther away from you. In other words, they understand, hey, there's an opportunity there, and I want to make sure that I'm there to show her the right way to behave if she thinks about jumping up on that counter and stealing that food, or even coming in the kitchen. I'm gonna throw some chicken in front of her now. Oh, good job, nice correction there. So, you know, I had to interrupt her. I thought she was gonna stay, so I was a little overconfident there, but she did a great job in correcting herself. I'm gonna throw some chicken again. Stay. That's really good. She's looking right at me. I love that. But I'm gonna see if I can push it a little bit more and get a little bit more success to keep her guessing a little bit. I'm gonna turn my back on her and I hope she's not going for anything, and she's not, so that's good. What happens if I get this plate out over here? Maybe grab one of these cupcakes. If your dog gets used to seeing you do normal things and you're in a position to also enforce the rules, then they're going to learn a lot quicker. Let's open the fridge again. Some chocolate soy milk. Gonna put that out. Now I'll put it back in because I don't want any chocolate soy milk. She is just knocking it out of the park right now. She's doing great. You should make every trip to the kitchen a training session for your dog if you're really serious about teaching this. Since you'll want to sporadically reward when you're cooking dinner, for example, it's a good idea to have some dog treats that keep well at room temperature available. See, Luca is eager to grab any food that's been left out the moment the humans are out of the room. So I'm going to try and do my best to make sure that doesn't happen right now. But this one's a little bit tricky. Make sure that everything we've covered so far is really solid before moving on to your next step, which is out of sight boundary training. Before you just trust your dog to stay while you leave the room, you really want to prepare them for this. That means starting small. Now, I happen to have a little bit of an advantage here. I'm going to be using this monitor to keep an eye on her. It just gives you a little bit more information. But if you start small enough, you shouldn't even need to do this. So I'm going to go walk out that door and tell her to stay. Stay. Oh goodness, what are you doing? What did you, gosh, you can't eat a whole sandwich. Okay, so that was kind of a disaster. I kind of pushed it a little bit too long. Stay. What are you doing? You broke your stay. I saw you. You tried to cheat. Get over here. Sit, stay. This time I don't want her to go and investigate that food. So I'm gonna try and interrupt her before she does it. Stay. 1, 2, 3, yes. Your dog has to get really good about a 3-second stay before you can expect them to do a 5 or 10-second out of sight stay. Good job. See, I want to reward for those tiny bits of progress right now, those short periods of time before she has a chance to slip up. Let's see if we can get 5 seconds now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, good girl. See, I want to take advantage of these times when she is succeeding, no matter how short a period of time that is. Stay. I'm trying to stay out of sight here, but I don't want to push her too long. She's doing really well. Good girl, very good. You did awesome. Okay, I'm outside now, closing the door. Look at her holding that stay. She's doing so well. I'm going to kind of sneak around the corner here. Good work. She thought about braking right there. You're doing a good job. Boundary training is the sort of thing that you really have to work on for weeks at a time in your spare time and just in real world scenarios so that your dog starts to generalize the behavior as a whole. So be patient with this and don't expect rapid results. Once you're able to have many real world training rehearsals like this where your dog has demonstrated that they're reliable for several minutes at a time of not going into the kitchen and stealing food for several weeks in a row, then your dog has probably gotten the point and you can begin to let your guard down. Now, if your dog does start to slip up, immediately take a step back on your training and apply the steps that we've gone over today. If you think the world is a better place because of original positive dog training content like this, help us do even better by making a modest monthly contribution to our crowdfunding campaign on Patreon. I'll have a link in the description. Your money helps us make better videos. Click thumbs up if you think Luca did a good job. Subscribe to my channel. I've got so many awesome videos coming, and set up automatic pet food delivery at petflow.com. All the links and everything I've discussed today will be in the description. And check out these other videos too. Good job, Luca, you did awesome.
Don't forget to pick up a copy of my new book, Dog Training Revolution. Do you want to see another great video with Luca? Teach your dog to come when called. Every dog needs to know this. If you've recently gotten a puppy or you're thinking about it, you'll need to know how to teach them their name, sit, and lie down. I'll show you how to teach all three with Bruno the Golden Doodle. If your dog isn't quite ready for boundary training, but you still need to teach them how to stop stealing food when you're not looking, see how to teach your dog to stop stealing. A special thanks to our contributors on Patreon. Thank you for helping me do what I love. And to the rest of you, thank you for subscribing.